The 2026 World Cup has brought its fair share of big refereeing decisions, and so we've got Dermot Gallagher and Jay Bothroyd back in the studio to discuss. Thanks for joining me, guys. We will be discussing whether Messi should have got a red card against Algeria. Why did VAR fail to award Kylian Mbappé a penalty? But first, let's start with England-Croatia, because there's plenty to talk about. Jay, I mean, first of all, what did you make of that England performance?
I said it's the best performance I've seen for a long time in an open major competition. They played really good football. I mean, even the first half, even though Kane said it was okay, it was a lot better than what I've seen in the past. They played really good football. There was fluid. There's lots of rotation, movement. I mean, it seemed like there was a good understanding from all the players. I looked at that performance last night and it looked like a club team playing. And I think that's why the likes of Spain and France and Germany, they've been so successful, because when they come together, they play like a club team.
Yeah, certainly Spain at Euro 2024, that was something that was really talked about then, wasn't it? But let's get on to the refereeing performance, Dermot, because last night's referee, Clement Turpin, came under attack from Thomas Tuchel back in 2023. He gave him a grade E and a 1 out of 10 after Bayern Munich's loss to Man City in the Champions League. I mean, what did you make of his performance, and what grade would you have given him for last night?
I'd be willing to bet he wouldn't get the same today, would he? Me and Jay discussed this earlier. I just think he was a perfect choice for the game. He just let the game play. Evidence of that was players respected him. He respected the players. They didn't take advantage. I think he made decisions when he had to make decisions. He stayed out of it when he had to stay out of it. And because of that, we saw a very, very fast, attacking, aggressive game. And when I say aggressive, I mean the style of play, not the nastiness. But I just think he was the perfect choice for the game.
From your experience, Dermot, you know, what is it like going into a game like that when, you know, a manager has, you know, said things before in the press, or a manager's put pressure on a referee in the build-up to a game? Does that add an extra edge to it from your perspective?
I don't need to take a lot of notice, really, because in the first game, Tuchel's lost, hasn't he? So that will play a part in his decision. I was given an appraisal from a manager in the Premier League where the guy said to my boss, Keith Hackett, gave him, he said, "You want to keep this for your scrapbook?" He marked you 10. He said, "You're the best referee in Europe." I said, "Yeah, but they won 4-0.
Yeah.
6 weeks later, I refereed the same team, sent one of their players off, they lost 1-0. He told me I was the worst referee he'd ever seen. So, you know, horses for courses.
Jay, have you ever tried putting pressure on a referee in that sense before a game, or is it always on the pitch?
It depends if I've been on the raw end of the deal on the other side. But I probably gave Dermot some in the past. But I think that, you know, just like players, you know, you might get bad decisions, but then you have to move on. And I feel like it's the same with referees. You know, they're there to do a job. Sometimes they're going to make mistakes, but you have to forget about their mistakes and focus on that game at hand. Yesterday, Turpin was fantastic. He let the game flow. And when referees let the game flow, players enjoy it more, fans enjoy it more, pundits enjoy it more. It's easy to talk about things. And then when the major decisions happen, he stepped in and he made the right decisions. So I thought it was a great game. It's probably the best game of football that I've watched so far in terms of the way it just flowed. It didn't seem like there was many stoppages. There was a lot of goals, really, really good performances from the big players. So for me, overall, it's a great night of football.
Do you not think, Jay, as well, what you said there, when a referee's like that and he's refereeing like that, players accept his decisions more because he's allowed them to play?
Yeah, because then you don't feel like there's a bias one way or the other. You just feel like the game is being played. And then when, you know, there is something that is, you know, over the line, they step in. And you can see that. That's why, you know, the players, you didn't really see the players swarming around the referee at any point, you know, trying to convince him the other way. They just got on with everything. The only time that a couple of players did get around the referee was when Harry Kane missed a penalty. And Harry Kane just said, listen, it looked like he was off the line. They'd done the check. It was the right decision. He got to retake it. He scored. But apart from that, I don't remember any players getting around the referee.
It's funny you mentioned that the penalty there, you know, Harry Kane mentioning him being off the line, then VAR finding encroachment as well. So all round good use of VAR, good refereeing performance. Let's move on to Argentina-Algeria, where there was a decision in that game which has divided opinion a little bit more, Dermot. Messi, of course, got that historic hat-trick, draws him level with Miroslav Klose for all-time World Cup top scorers. But do you think he should have even been on the pitch to score that hat-trick?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, I don't think it's a red card. I look at it and I think, what can he do? You have to accept that physical game, players are going to make challenges, players miss time challenges. I just think at that point in the game, he's close to the player. He catches him, it's a foul, but I think it's a foul. I'd have been stunned if a red card would
you have given him a yellow at least?
Probably not. I think when you look at the game, what I would say, it's certainly not a red card. If a red card had come out, I think everybody watching around the world would have been absolutely astonished.
There's been situations this year in the Premier League where it has been the same sort of tackle. Derms thought the one again on Xavi Simons was, and I can understand why Derms would say that, because obviously there was a distance being travelled. But from my point of view, being a player, I look at all of them challenges as a whole and say they're accidental. I don't think you can give players red cards for stepping on someone accidentally. Sometimes we've seen players, kick the ball and it's hit someone's head. That's a little bit different because it's a high foot. But I think in terms of where you put your feet, you're not always aware where you put your feet. You're just kind of moving and trying to look for the ball, trying to get round players. So like Derm said there, if they had have given a red card, it would have been turmoil. It really would have. And the fact that no one really talked about it, I think it's more pundits and fans saying, why didn't Messi get a red card? Yeah. I think the players knew that it was an accident. Again, that's why they didn't get around the referee and start complaining as to why he hasn't been given the red.
Dermot, you mentioned the fallout of a Messi red card in that moment, if it had happened. Do you remember any times in your refereeing career where, you were compelled to send off a superstar and, just everything erupted around
I'm
you?
thinking Man United ones.
I sent off Sammer in Dortmund in the quarterfinal of the Champions League, and he told me he was the World Player of the Year playing in his own backyard. I said, well, that's not going to cut a lot of ice, mate.
Was it the right decision, Dams?
Well, I will give him his due. He saw me. He come and see me after the game. He said, "I think you're right." He said there were 2 yellow cards, and that's the difference, isn't it? In the heat of battle, the player's upset. When he calms down, he goes, yeah, I did it for the team.
Let's move on to France-Senegal, another probably more dubious VAR call. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. At 0-0, Mbappé going through, brought down, VAR intervenes, ref goes to the monitor, decides, actually, no, it's not a penalty, which is quite a rare thing to see. Usually we're used to seeing referees going to the monitor and usually going with what VAR have suggested they do. I mean, Dermot, what do you think the ref's thinking was here? I mean, is there any way that that's not a penalty after review, in your opinion?
Astonishing. I must stick up for the VAR, though. I can't. He's not culpable. Yeah. You see the tackle. For me, a player goes to the ground. He doesn't get the ball. It's a foul. It's a foul and penalty. And I actually think it's an easy foul to give. Yeah. I think it's a very, very easy decision for the referee to make. But when you start to drill down into it, the referee actually gives a corner. He gives a corner. He's told everyone the defender's played the ball. You look at the video. The defender doesn't play the ball. So I think that's where the VAR says, well, he hasn't played the ball. Yeah. Go and look. And when he came back, everyone was convinced he would give a penalty. When he comes back, he did the one thing. I know he retains all options. He can hold his ground, but he did the one thing that I still can't understand. He said, and I quote, "Mbappé initiated the contact."
Yeah, bizarre.
Well, there's two issues for me. Firstly, I played as a forward, and if I'm in front, it's very, very difficult for me to initiate the contact. Almost impossible, I would say. And secondly, if he thinks Mbappé initiated the contact, Why does he not go and yellow card him?
I completely agree with that as well. Once you go past a defender, you're not thinking about what's behind you. You're looking at what's in front of you and who's coming next. Can I get a shot off? And even that terminology, initiated contact. I look at that and, again, Dermot was a forward. I played as a forward. Coaches will tell you to run across the line of a defender, which doesn't mean you're initiating contact, but it means you're getting yourself in a position where if that defender makes contact, then you can go down and get a penalty. But I go back to as well, Derms, I know you don't like doing this part, but if that happened in the middle of the pitch, I genuinely think the referee would give a foul. But I think where it's happened, and because it was, a big moment, I think that's the reason why he's just stood his ground and stuck to his guns. Again, sometimes we talk about it, Derms, we want to see referees take more responsibility, accountability, stand on their decision. A bit like, yourself, Derms, back in the day, you make a decision. If you genuinely think it's the right decision, you're going to stand on it. Afterwards, you might ask questions or hold your hands up afterwards, but you stand on it. I like the fact that he stood on it and took accountability, but I still think it was the wrong decision.
He obviously thought the defender had played the ball because he gave a corner. When he looks at the video, he can see the defender doesn't play the ball. And I think he's been given a heaven-sent gift there to say, you're not going to make a big mistake, which would have done in my day, if you like. It can be corrected. And for whatever reason, he's chose not to take that.
The VAR is there to aid the referee and give him the option to change his mind. In that moment, they gave him the option. Now, they just have to step out and live with that option. In my opinion and Derm's opinion, he chose the wrong option, but nevertheless, VAR still did their job. It was him that got it wrong.
I'm inclined to agree, but what do you guys think at home? Let us know in the comments below. That's all we have time for today, but we will see you soon. Thanks, Jay and Dermot, for joining us once again, and see you soon.